Hey, how's it going guys? I'm welcome to my Mona review. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for this, so thank you for being patient. I had to manage my Wormite really well for this event, so I had to wait until the very last day of the banner to pull, and I unfortunately had to spark Mona, but hey, at least I got him though, right? If you guys remember from my first impressions video, I said Mona was the highest priority out of all the new characters. The question is, did he meet my expectations or not? Watch the video until the very end to find out. Like always, we're going to start by talking about normal combos and Forcestrike. Here are the mods for Mona's unique normal combos. It goes up to combo 9, and if you do the full combo, then it deals a total of 10 hits. The first 4 hits grants most of the SP, and then it falls off once Mona starts spinning. Each of the spin grants only 50 SP per hit. That said, whenever you are using Mona and you're in a situation where you know that you have to dodge an attack soon, try to squeeze in those first 4 hits off before you have to roll away. This Forcestrike is a stationary projectile attack. It deals 8 hits and has a similar range to that of the bows, and SP gain is 45 SP per hit. This Forcestrike is pretty important. Mona's ability says whenever you use this Forcestrike, then Mona will gain a buff called Beast Eye, assuming Mona doesn't have his persona out. This buff lasts for 20 seconds and it speeds up the persona gauge fill rate by 20%. See, the thing with Mona is that his skills grant 300 persona gauge each, just like Joker and Panther, but in addition to that, his normal combos and Forcestrikes also grant him some persona gauge. So with Mona, you want to have Beast Eye active before you start performing your normal combo. Keep in mind that when you summon Zoro, then the buff will disappear and you'll have to reactivate again once Zoro is gone. By the way, to activate Beast Eye, you don't have to land it in order to get the buff. All you have to do is use the Forcestrike. As for his optimal combo, I tested 4 different combos. We have C4 Forcestrike times 2, plain C9, C4 Forcestrike into C9, and C4 Forcestrike fail 2 times. What I found was that plain C9 was the slowest SP gainer out of all of them, just slightly slower. But here's the thing, with Mona it's not all about SP. It's better to think which combo gives Mona the most SP and persona gauge. If you look at the persona gauge gain per hit from his normal combos, you can see that the first 4 gives 10, while each hit of the spinning combo string grants 20 per hit. So given this information, I think his optimal combo is just plain C9. Well, I guess not exactly. It's Forcestrike first to gain Beast Eye, then plain C9. You don't have to gain Beast Eye every single time, it depends on how fast the run is, but for longer fights you want to have it active as much as possible because most of Mona's damage will be coming from his Persona skill 1. Also, regarding plain C9, you can do Forcestrike fail at the end to get rid of that little bit of end lag, but I don't think it's necessary to do. My reasoning is because it's kind of difficult to determine when the spinning combo string is about to end, and you can potentially mess up and cancel the projectile at the very end of the string. I would recommend that you guys just plain C9 and play more freely than forcing yourself to maintain some focus on thinking about when to Forcestrike fail at the perfect moment. Something I forgot to mention in Joker's review is that these Persona characters all have a unique dodge roll. After performing an attack, if you dodge roll backwards, they roll back while facing the same direction. It's kind of irrelevant information, but I thought it was interesting enough to share. When Mona is not in Persona form, his skill 1 is Monocar. He'll transform into a car, and the driving system is similar to Yuya's. If you try to turn in the middle of driving, then you'll probably end up swerving away, so I don't recommend trying to change the direction of the car during the middle of the animation. I will only recommend changing directions towards the end of the animation for situations where the car can allow you to get behind the enemy or something. Because Mona's Forcestrike doesn't offer him any mobility like regular swords do, any type of mobility that he can get is great. Every time you successfully do this, it'll save Mona a dodge roll or 2, and that'll be a slight increase in DPS. Yeah, so this car costs 2,715 SP and deals 2,250%. The normal mods are good. The only issue I see with this skill is that the animation speed is quite long, but you can't really do anything about it because you're kind of forced to use this to gain persona gauge. Now in Persona form, the skill 1 is the reason why Mona is even a potent DPSer. The animation speed is greatly cut down, mods are higher, and has a high chance to land crits. There's multiple layers of RNG to this Persona skill 1. It'll either deal 2,475% with a 30% chance to land a crit, or it'll deal 2,500% with a 50% crit chance. So with these high crit rate characters, obviously you want to stack crit damage to make the most out of them. With that being said, DY Zainfried will be Mona's best friend on the battlefield. He's a crit rate buffer and skill 2 grants Dragon Meter, so that'll help Mona summon Zoro more often. Also, Zane is basically there so that Mona isn't forced to run crit rate prints. Mona is going to be slotty in crit damage, and there's not a lot of space left for other essential prints, so he really wants DY Zane as an ally. 50% chance to crit is a high chance, but again, there's 2 layers of RNG. Will Lucky Punch get the 30% or the 50% crit mods? Then after that, will he land the crit? You want DY Zane as an ally because it's better safe than sorry, so you won't end up with diminishing returns after stacking so much crit damage. Skill 2 is kind of plain. It's 5450 SP and deals 2400%, which is decent for skill 2s. Animation wise, again, it's kind of long, and this move has really bad end lag to it. This is a trend for all Persona characters basically. Their normal skills have relatively long animations, but their Persona skills are very short. It just makes a lot of sense because, the goal of these characters are to make sure that you are using their Persona forms as much as possible. But yeah, anyways, in Persona form, the damage is increased from 2400% up to 3000%, and the animation is cut down by a couple seconds, so overall, it's a good skill too. His Coability is another reason why he's so sought after. Wind Boost increases wind damage by 20%. This is going to be an instant slot in for basically every wind DPS. It's basically the same as Peonies but for wind. Gentleman's Thief, his chain Coability, is good for increasing survivability by a little bit, nothing more. Abilities, I've already covered most of it. Guiding Feline talks about his Persona Gauge, his Forcestrike, and Beast Eye. I guess the one thing I didn't mention yet was the healing effect from Zoro. He will restore HP to all teammates with 10% recovery potency when he attacks. It's about a little over 100 HP, not a lot. Zoro doesn't even proc it that often either. With the minimum Persona Gauge, Zoro will heal maybe around 3 to 4 times. I would not recommend counting on it to be the primary source of heals for any team. You're gonna need something else to go along with it. For example, Templar Hope has innate healing double buff, so you can use him as an ally. With those two, you won't be needing healing double buff prints for short fights, especially if you bring Freya. Something to keep in mind is that personas will not attack unless your character is also attacking, as in normal comboing. If you're force striking, Zoro will not attack. Now obviously Zoro won't attack either during skills because, well, he's casting the skill. Anyways, moving along, freeze res is freeze res and crit damage is self-explanatory. It will increase the damage on his Persona skill 1 if it so happens to crit. Now the AI for Mona is pretty decent. He does C9 when the foe is not in overdrive. When the foe is in overdrive, then Mona AI will spam Forcestrike, which is to be expected. As soon as any of his 2 skills is filled, then Mona will summon Zoro. How to play Mona. First thing you want to do is Forcestrike to gain Beast Eye. Do this right off in the beginning of the fight, and you should also do it every time Zoro disappears for long fights. In short fights, I don't see the need to activate Beast Eye again after the first time. You'll gain enough Dragon Meter naturally from just beating up the boss. Now after that you've gained Beast Eye, just tap 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 C9, use skill 1 when it's up, then use skill 2 as soon as that's up. Those 2 skills along with all the normal attacks will give Mona enough Dragon Meter to summon his first persona. It should time perfectly with his skill 1. You want to summon Zoros at this point and then use the enhanced skill 1 and just spam skills at this point. When Zoro disappears, then use Forcestrike, rinse and repeat. Here are some pointers to keep in mind when playing as Mona. Like I keep saying, remember to use Forcestrike for Beast Eye. I think a lot of people will forget this buff even exists because I know I did a few times when I was testing out Mona. Forcestrike is a projectile, so you can use it as a way to maintain combo for flurry abilities when you are out of range. Lastly, deactivate Zoro when you cannot take advantage of it and save some gauge for bursting during the break. Worm Print selection for Mona is pretty linear. I run skill damage and flurry strength always. Poison Puncher when there's a poison enabler on team, which there should be. The wind meta is very double buff focused, so Feline Hospitality for crit damage double buff, and then the last slot goes to strength double buff. If you do not have Feline Hospitality, then you can move Strength Double Buff to the 5-star slot and then insert plain crit damage in the 4-star slot. Remember, Prince always depends on team, but this is what I would use along with allies that can grant a lot of defense buffs such as Low Wind with skill shares or Templar Hope. For his backline, I would use Blade, Wand, and crit damage from Howling Mim or Valentine's Melody. If you do not have crit damage, then I would probably just recommend using Kuhai for Dragon Haste and 10 hit strength. For his dragon, I would recommend either using Gala Zephyr or Midgar Zero. They both should perform similar as long as you meet all the conditions, but I think Zephyr is preferred slightly. If you don't have those two, then you can use Vayu, otherwise any strength dragon will work. So like I said in my first impressions video, Mona is going to be top priority for this event. I said that he was going to be the total package, good as a unit and also good as a staple Coab for wind. I can definitely say that he met my expectations. The only thing that didn't meet my expectations was the amount of heals given from Zoro's attacks. I think I misread and didn't realize it was heals from his normal attacks. I thought it was from something else, but yeah, anyways, Mona's great even though he's a bit clunky to play. It was really weird to adjust my playstyle after playing Gallo Leaf for so long in win content, having to go from like this super mobile character that glides around the map to Mona who can't really move around well. It was definitely a weird adjustment. Mona's a really tappy character, so amazing win character for new players. He is super future proof because even if he falls off as a DPS, he's always great as a backline. And that's the end of my Mona review analysis. I'm going to be working on Panther's video for the next few days, and oh man, that's going to be a long one. So if that's something you're interested in, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of stuff to talk about in that video, so don't miss it. But until then, as always guys, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.